Getting litter and floor temperatures right before placement is essential for maintaining litter conditions. Starting with cold floors or wet bedding may lead to continual litter issues throughout the batch. Dry, warm litter acts as an insulator between chicks and the ground, helping them maintain body temperature during brooding. Cold and wet litter doesn't provide enough insulation, and heat can be lost through the floor. Even if the top layer of bedding is dry and warm, but wet or damp underneath, moisture from the floor or bottom layer of litter will continue to rise to the surface, resulting in cold litter and cold chicks. Water evaporation from the litter surface will also make it feel cold. If the floor is wet, more energy is needed to heat the litter and maintain shed temperature, which can be costly. When the floor and litter temperature is cooler than air temperature, condensation may occur in the litter and result in moisture problems. This is more likely to be a problem during brooding when air temperature and relative humidity are higher. The higher the humidity in the shed, the warmer the litter must be to avoid condensation. Higher relative humidity at the start of brooding means that the floor temperature must be within a few degrees of the shed air temperature. To avoid condensation in litter, preheat the floor. Use dry bedding and preheat. Measure litter temperature. Measure relative humidity. And seal leaks to prevent cold drafts. Regardless of shed or floor type, preheating the floor and litter will help avoid problems with litter condensation. Preheat time will vary depending on floor type and season. Circulation fans will help move warm air to ground level. Condensation may develop in litter near leaking curtains, vents, unsealed doors or areas where there is poor insulation. Always check areas where floor wetness seems to start so you can identify and fix the cause. Sometimes it may be necessary to take delivery of wet bedding, but it must be dried before chick placement. To dry wet bedding, spread the bedding evenly and ventilate. Adding heat will help it dry faster. Once the surface appears dry, turn the bedding to bring wet material to the surface and continue to ventilate. Bringing the wettest material to the surface will remove the most amount of water in the shortest time available before placing the next flock. It will maximize the amount of water removed and reduce the cost to ventilate and heat the shed. Continue to check moisture below the surface and repeat turning and ventilating until the bedding profile is evenly dried. Make sure the whole shed is dry. Wet bedding and cold floors can be as much as 10 to 15 degrees colder than the target air and litter surface temperatures. Young chicks can't regulate their own body temperature, so they will become cold and won't grow as expected. Always make sure the floor is right at the start. Having floors that are dry and preheated, together with dry bedding material, is the key. Otherwise, you will be likely to have recurring wet litter.